My name is Rochelle Bilow, and I graduated from Moyne in 2009. And I studied public relations and philosophy, and now I work as a freelance food and wine and travel writer. So essentially what I do is explore all aspects of food and cooking and wine and how it all intertwines, and I get to write about it for a ton of different publications, so it's one of the best jobs in the world, in my opinion. Well, I always loved writing, but the food came while I was at Moyne. Actually, I was just kind of experimenting with cooking, kind of learning how to do it for myself. And I had taken some photos of a dinner I made, and a colleague or a friend at the time who had worked at the Dolphin at Moyne saw my kind of adventures in cooking and asked if I would write a cooking column for the Dolphin. And I knew nothing about cooking, but I knew a lot about writing, so I figured, why not? It'll be an adventure. And the more I did it, the more I fell in love with cooking and writing about it and exploring food and kind of making other people have the same emotional connection that I do to food. And that was a real fun adventure and challenge for me. And so throughout my time at Moyne, my column got more and more involved. And, I love that they gave me the freedom to just run with it. There had never been a recipe or a food writing column at the Dolphin, and they just kind of trusted me to make it work. I'm really thankful for that. I love that feeling of when I would write a column and people would approach me about it that I didn't know. It's such a great feeling. I remember I wrote one article about I had made a white bean and garlic soup, and I had pureed it in the blender, and when I lifted the blender off of the kind of machine part, the bottom wasn't on completely, and so the soup went all over me, and I wasted the soup, and I was completely soaked in white beans and garlic. But it was funny, and so I wrote about that, and for a week afterwards, people kept coming up to me and saying, I loved your story, it was so funny, and the soup sounded delicious. And that, for a writer, there's no better feeling than to know that someone's reading your story and connecting with it and laughing about it, and that was a great feeling. I love thinking about that. I work with Finger Lakes Wine Country Tourism and Marketing Association as their wine and food ambassador. So what that means is I'm essentially a spokesperson. So every day is something different. I might go to a wine tasting and write about it, or I might create promotional videos for them. I might create recipes that pair with the wines from the region. So that's a lot of fun because every day is different. I'm currently working with USA Today. I'm writing a travel guide for the city of Syracuse that highlights all the best nightlife spots and restaurants and places to work out and museums. So that is fun, and the fact that it's USA Today is a real feather in my cap. And I work with Edible Finger Lakes. I write about local food and wine in the Finger Lakes. And I also write for the New York Cork Report about all things Finger Lakes wine and food. So I'm doing all that. And in addition, I am working on a farm. I wrote about this farm, and I fell in love with the idea of being closer to my food in a really tangible way that I had never been before. To know that I'm not just writing for myself, I'm writing for a wider audience, and getting the reassurance that it's resonating with people. That's such a great feeling.